Hello everyone, how are you all? I hope you would be fine. This is Miss Sidra Kashif representing MSK Linguistics Center from Pakistan, Karachi, being a moderator, honor plus EFL and IELTS instructor there. Today it's my honor to have Miss Shannon Liddy. She's from UK. She is English language teacher, Spanish language instructor and ukulele instructor. We would like to discuss about the topic ice-breaking engaging ideas for EFL and ESL educationists. Indeed, this live stream is going to be really fruitful and remarkable for all of the educators, mostly if you are a teacher, educator, instructor, or even if you are a learner, you would enjoy it. It's all about warm up activities or ideas to just divert the boring classroom into something funful activities. Hello, Miss Shannon. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you very much for having me today. Happy to be here.
I'm really grateful to have you today.
Yes, very excited to be here. Welcome everyone. Thank you for all being here.
That's great. Could you please introduce yourself to the audience so they could get to know about yourself?
Yeah, of course. So, as mentioned, my name is Shannon. I'm an online ESL teacher from the south of England. I've been teaching English now for almost 4 years, and it's something that I absolutely love to do. Helping students find joy in learning a new language has always felt incredibly rewarding for me, whether that was doing English or doing Spanish as well. The topic that I'm sharing today focuses on something I know that every teacher faces at some point, which is keeping a classroom engaged. And over time, I've learned that the first few minutes of a class can completely change the direction of the lesson. So I hope that these ideas that I'll share today can support other teachers in making their lessons more interactive, perhaps enjoyable and meaningful. So I'm looking forward to today's discussion.
That's amazing. We would like to hear more relevant to it. So, are you ready to disclose insight strategies?
Of course.
That's great. So, first question is all about that how to develop interest in boring classroom, how to engage the students in funful activities. What are some engaging ways to boost their interest plus confidence?
Yeah, I've learned that capturing students' attention right at the start of the lesson can make a massive difference, especially for young learners. They enter the classroom full of energy and they're actually ready to talk about their day. And this has a real dramatic effect because it means that they're naturally speaking, they're exercising their advantage of being able to express themselves more confidently and passionately rather than in a traditional speaking exercise. So instead of just jumping straight into the lesson that I have planned, I take advantage of their excitement that they enter the lesson with and actually give them each a moment to share maybe something funny, something surprising, or even memorable from their day. So this could be, I don't know, getting a new toy, what they ate for their dinner, or a funny moment that they shared with a friend from school. And when the topics do feel personal, they speak with much more enthusiasm. These warm ups that I do, they also include reviewing vocabulary from previous lessons. So these could be opening questions that focus on a particular topic that invites them to include their own emotions or personal viewpoints about a matter. We might do a guess the thing style game. So it encourages them to recall the vocabulary that they've learned and actually gives me some insight into how they responded to our last class before then moving on, because it gives me a chance to see if we need to revisit any certain points from that lesson. And these simple warm-ups definitely set the tone for everything that follows in the lesson, because students actually feel valued and like their learning's important to me as their teacher. So we see that their confidence is growing, the classroom becomes a more welcoming space for them to communicate naturally. And as soon as they experience that comfortable connection with me as their teacher, they are far more willing to participate if I ask any questions, or if I ask them to be involved. If I say some things to them, they're more actively listening to the lessons. So it does have quite an effect on how the lesson goes.
I agree with that. If there is something relevant to them or according to their interest, no, or whatever they have experienced previously, that is really engaging way
Mm,
to just spark the
absolutely.
interest in them.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So, what are your strategies when someone is there? In rare case, it happens that among 20 students, there will be a one student. He would be interrupting, like heads down, or doesn't want to participate, like boring, looking here, there, to the walls, and not participating. What do you do in this
It's safe to
situation?
say, yeah, it's safe to say that the approach that some students have to the lesson will vary. Some will be very enthusiastic and excited, whereas others, they might be more reserved or apprehensive to get involved, or they just don't have that energy for that particular lesson. So it's all about trying to get them engaged. I find that students that are much more quieter, I ask them much more personal questions. So I go, I remember last time you mentioned you did this. Tell me about it. I really want to know. And they kind of act surprised because they're not expecting a teacher to remember what they've said. So I always make it an effort on my part to recall something a student said, because I don't know when that could be important in later classes, because it is important to remember each individual student and not just see them as one big class, because how they learn is personal, it's unique. So it's important to take that into consideration. So yeah, when they do put their
My
heads down from.
perspective, sorry to interrupt you, but in my perspective, I think they need emotional space. First of all, we just have to be really personal with them, like being a teacher, as a teacher is also like a parent. In that way we can interact with them, and we can ask them the reason, that what's the reason, and gradually after being a little friendly, then we could apply these things
Yeah, in
accordingly.
my experience, sometimes they can be upset or even worried that they're going to make a mistake in class. So they feel like they don't want to say anything to avoid almost that embarrassment. So you have to be really kind towards them, make it known to them that when they make a mistake, it's a learning opportunity. It's nothing to be afraid of. That I've done it from time to time, learning. Everyone that makes mistakes, and it's absolutely fine for that to be the case. And when they are sad, because they do sometimes, they do get really sad or nervous or quiet. It's showing a personal interest in them. Some children do like space and they will continue to be silent. So I say, well, I'm here if you do want to talk to me, because I know I would love to talk to you. So I give them a little bit of space. And when they see that other children are getting involved or participating in something that they're excited about, they tend to open up slowly. So I then kind of take that and use it as a chance to, yeah, appeal to them. But for the most part, in my experience, the lesson subjects are always something that interests them, because that's always something that I plan out, is that the lessons are going to appeal to whichever age range the students are, so that they are more inclined to get involved, rather than feel too scared to do anything.
Their age and level matters as well.
Mm.
It is not necessary that the student really needs emotional space. There would be something another issue or matter.
Yeah, yeah,
We
from
just
time to time it can be
you
something
can
outside of
afford
the
to, that
lesson.
we have to prepare them to
Yeah.
reach our goal.
Absolutely. It's important that they feel that they can trust their teacher, because who knows what could be going on behind the scenes. They want to know that the learning environment that they're in is a safe space for them. So it's important to make it um, happen that's how they view lessons quite early on, so that they can relax into it, and feel that their teacher's interested in them.
Yeah, that's the thing. Initially, we have to build the trust so they could share their obstacles, whatever obstacles they have, or opinion as well.
Absolutely,
If
yeah.
we just judge that, so we could work on these things.
Yeah, of course, it's very important to make it known to them that they can open up about things that they're struggling with, and that their concerns will be taken note of and addressed when the time is right.
That's great. Okay. So, could you please let me know that are there any useful instruments or equipments which are mandatory or essential to use in language classroom? As you are a Spanish grammar teacher, English language teacher, you would have an idea, and also ukulele instructor, you would have number of ideas that how do you engage the classroom with the useful equipments or instruments. Are there any essential or necessary instruments which are used or which should be used?
Yeah, in online ESL lessons, in particular, the equipment that we use can play a huge part in whether students stay focused or engaged, and that can be said for all lessons. That the things that you use to teach can play such a vital role, because there's not necessarily any physical materials in front of the students, so everything needs to be highly visual or interactive or easy for them to access. So, what I found to be one very useful tool is the online whiteboard that many platforms allow, because I use this constantly to draw pictures, write key vocabulary, to highlight sounds, and even to play spelling games like Hangman, which builds vocabulary recognition in a much more fun way. And it becomes a shared learning environment where students are more inclined to participate because it's something different to maybe what they're used to within a school setting. I also think that music is probably one of the most essential and powerful tools for learning development, regardless of the language you're looking at learning. Many songs include simple phrases, clear pronunciation, music videos, or the videos to go along with it include bright visuals as well. So you can actually see lots going on, and the repetition within the songs and the catchy melodies help vocabulary to stick. And that's what's important, is you're wanting them to recall these phrases, and that's what ends up happening. Music has such a powerful effect that long after the lesson ends, the language is something that they are able to recall, and in an enjoyable way, which is really nice for them. Obviously, the songs would relate to the complexity or the level of the students, so it would get more difficult depending on the level. Children respond more to think songs like Cocomelon or Rayo Kids, whereas mature learners respond to more songs that you'll hear on the radio, songs that are familiar to them. They like. I also think games is another thing that's really nice. I rely heavily on Minecraft Education Edition. I think it's great. You can explore digital worlds, complete tasks that include reading, searching for keywords, and communicating with either their classmates or even characters within the game. And it gives real purpose to the language rather than in a traditional lesson sense. And the children are much more motivated. I'm actually proud of the achievements that they make within the games.
Traditional traditional
Yeah,
games are also useful to learn.
yeah, it's
Traditional
definitely fruitful.
class.
Yeah, yeah. If you take advantage and have a good balance between play-based learning, and more technical learning or textbook learning, it can have such an amazing effect on how the students, regardless of their skill level, respond. So it is important that in order to have the best outcome with these things is yeah, to have that balance, so that the tool does actually support the specific skill or the vocabulary that the focuses on. I also find another thing that's really good, especially for younger learners, they like something physical. So we've done a lot of, can you find this in your house? And it might be a particular shape or a particular animal that they've got as a teddy. They have to run off and find on like a little scavenger hunt, and they come back and they go, I found it. And if it's a different shape to what we've discussed, they go, let's look at that. How many corners does that have, for instance? Or does this look the same as what I'm holding? And that gives them their own sort of correction in a way. So they run off, they come back, and it's something that they do really enjoy. So it's important to find things that appeal to the different ages, and that it is relevant to whatever vocabulary or grammar skill that's being taught within the lesson at the time.
That's amazing. Okay, could you please share about your ukulele classes? That how do you conduct it online? What are your strategies?
Oh, well, it's great actually doing online music lessons. Yeah, because I teach ukulele as well as the guitar on top of that. So the two musical instruments actually work really well over any video conferencing materials. They allow for screen sharing the music sheets that we're working on. I can share my audio so they can hear the song that we're working on, and we'll take note of when we can hear changes in the pattern. So if we're learning a strumming song, they're able to pick up on the speed change, which is really good. With the camera, we can get it really close to what my hand is doing, much more than you would in an actual in-person class, because you can't really go up close to someone's hand without it seeming a little bit strange. Whereas with the camera, you can put it really close and they can see every individual movement of the strings. So it's as clear as day to them, which is really, really good. Um, and it also is meaning that people from all over the world can have lessons with music, because there's different situations and different schedules for everyone, and they want to fit in an opportunity to learn an instrument. So time zones play a really good part in that, that for some areas of the world it's before their work schedule or after that they've been to school, and for me it's the middle of the day, for instance, and we're able to work a way that's perfect for both of us to have a lesson. And the joy that they get from learning an instrument is amazing, because the gift of music is incredible and is something to share with everyone. So for me, being able to do that brings me so much joy, because music plays a massive part in my life and has been a part of who I am for almost my entire life.
It sounds great. Okay, could you please let us know that how to develop interest in especially reading, as you have talked about listening, that for listening we could use different musics according to the students' interest or their experiences. So if we talk about reading, that students are mostly they are really bored while reading. They have number of difficulties to find out the accurate answer. So how to develop interest? First of all, they don't have interest. We have to work on that. So what are
Yeah.
some strategies relevant to it?
Yeah, that's true. Not everyone is born with a love of reading. For some, they also have learning difficulties, so it makes it really challenging for them. So it's important to make it feel more rewarding rather than like a chore, like a job that they have to do. Because although it's really, really important, in order for it to have a lasting effect, there has to be an interest, there has to be a love for it coming in somewhere. So it's important to spark that curiosity and that interest quite early on, and to make sure that the material that's being discussed is appropriately challenging for the skill level of a particular learner. For young learners, they need to enjoy reading and listening in a more fun and meaningful way that perhaps connects them to real life. So what I found is that you reading a book that's a very short one that has maybe three multiple choice questions at the end is really, really good, because it means that they're not having to recall too much information, but enough to be able to get the understanding from the text. And these can, if it they're be beginner learners have basic sentences within that, so that there's not too much and it's not overwhelming for them. And then obviously the difficulty would increase depending on their skill. I also found that, as I mentioned with games, Minecraft, the education edition, which I use, is really good because in each of the missions that are involved, there's opportunities for reading. And because it's related to the game, the children automatically go, I want to read it. I do. I want to find out what we're doing. So they've got that excitement to do it without me having to really put any effort into planning too much, because it's already done for me and the students have that enthusiasm for it. So I feed on that. I go, okay, so now we've got this, we need to search for something else. So then it leads on to more discovery, more vocabulary that they're seeing in a physical sense. So they have to pick it out so that they get the context of the text that's just been discussed. And there's a lot of the time where they'll repeat after me. We've done Planet Earth, where it teaches multiple facts about animals, and children are fascinated by animals, so learning details about
Yeah.
them is something that they enjoy. So we do that text before then watching a video about the animal that we've learned. So there's that interactive side as well, where they can then be involved in prediction exercises. So we'll ask what we think is going to happen based on the facts that we've learned, so they become like active thinkers. And then afterwards we'll compare their original statements to what we now know
Yeah,
from the
it
video.
is reading like critical thinking. There should
Yeah,
be a space
exactly.
for them that whatever they have read, they have to elaborate it in their own wording,
Yeah,
rather than criticizing them for just restricting some questions or blanks. They have to just speak whatever in their mind relevant to the reading, whatever they read.
yeah, exactly. It's so good because it's a combination of curiosity, of creativity, and it actually builds stronger comprehension skills and helps them to stay motivated in a way that maybe they don't realize is the case. So they're much more engaged and more involved, and it doesn't necessarily feel like the studying that they know, it feels something that appeals to them.
Hmm. I always suggest my students that if they want to read, if they want to overcome their lacking related to reading, then they have to select any of the books which is the easiest one to them at the beginning. As I did, as I experienced this thing, now we have to go for the easiest one, then gradually, one by one, we have to go step by step. In that way,
Absolutely,
we
yeah.
improve a lot. Like at the beginning, it's okay if you are a female or if you are married, you can just take um, your children books. Like if they are school going, then you can take any one of book any books of them and just start reading as I did.
Yeah.
Then gradually I improved. Then
Yeah,
you can go for novels and other things like that.
yeah, because if it's too challenging for them, they're not going to
Hmm.
respond favorably. So you have to start at a level that's comfortable, and then as you see them progressing, increase the difficulty, but only gradually. If you make it too difficult for them, they're not going to have the motivation to continue, and it could even put them off wanting to learn entirely. So it's important to take all of their skills into consideration and really think about how they're going to benefit. Because as I said, each student's unique, each student's ability varies. So if a teacher's paying attention to the individual growth of these students, they'll know, say it's a group activity that they're involved in, they'll know what parts which students will respond better to. So you might go, okay, this student is able to do this, so they'll complete that part, but this student is a little bit more advanced, so I'll wait till we get to this part of the activity to have them complete it, so that the students are getting their
Pictures
personal
shows
growth
a lot,
within the
I think so.
lessons.
If there is picture with the reading now, then we can get the idea that what's going on in the story.
Yeah, absolutely, and
Gradually we
getting them to
improve.
describe the pictures is wonderful.
No, no. I'm talking about the picture with reading. When there is a passage with picture, then it
Yeah,
is really easy to understand after reading.
Yeah, it is, especially if it's in a storyboard type setting. What we tend to do as a
Yeah.
class is we'll read, yeah, the text or the description under the pictures, and then we'll describe the scene. We'll say, what do you see? What's going on? And that way also actively getting involved in inference. So they're looking at the facts and what they know, and growing on that, just to expand the knowledge that they've learned from that simple sentence that they might have done, so that then next time when we revisit maybe that same sort of structure, we gradually build up and it becomes not only a few sentences, it becomes a paragraph and a story. But yeah, having them describe the pictures of what they see to reinforce the understanding of the text they've read has such a great effect. And they actually enjoy doing it as well, because a lot of the time it includes vocabulary that they already completely understand and know and have done for a long time. So it's just reinforcing their knowledge, which is great.
Hmm. What about novel reading? How to be fluent in novel reading? As there are number of people, they really want to read, but they can't understand because there are too long stories.
Yeah, a lot of the time people get overwhelmed by the length of a novel. So I always encourage them to start with smaller ones. You can get 50-page novels, which are really good. If they want a little bit more than 100 is really good. But I would say starting smaller is always best, and not feeling like they need to do a massive amount. So I say if it's a long chapter, do only a couple of pages. And if there are lots of words or sentence structures you're not familiar with, I encourage them to create like a word bank or a little library for themselves. It could be on another device, on their phone, for instance, or iPad, or writing it down in a little book where they've got like this bank of things they don't understand, and they can, yeah, approach me with them and go, okay, teacher, I didn't understand this. This confused me. Can you explain why this is the case? Or this word, I've never heard this word before. So we're able to go through it, and gradually, by doing it that way, I'm not telling them what the story is about. I'm telling them what they don't understand, and we're learning it together. And then they start to piece the story together themselves. And that really does have a great effect on their understanding of the language as a whole. And before long, the amount of reading they can do increases. But I've still got mature students who have been learning English for many years, and there are difficult words that they come across that they, yeah, have a little bank of, and they go, I remember like 2 years ago this word was really difficult for me. Now when I come across it, I remember, I know what it means, but having it in my book shows what how much I've grown. And it's like a good little learning curve for them, and a proud moment that they are able to keep track of everything that they didn't understand compared to what they do now. Because there are still words they come across and go, I don't use that in an everyday setting, so I'm not going to know what that word means. So we then take a moment to discuss it, practice using it in different contexts, and then add it to their now, um, yeah, their now list, which is the words that they now know.
Amazing. So, would you like to discuss about overall review relevant to the topic that, especially the things which should not be neglected in the classroom to engage the classroom with different activities?
Yeah, with different activities, it's important not to neglect the needs of the students and the needs of the topic. Especially if there are like slower learners that are present, it's important to have like an overall understanding of the way to approach. Where they've got differentiated instructions as well, where they can really get the most out of it, whether it's a mixture of visuals, listening tasks, movement, hands-on activities, keeping these clear and simple activities can reduce stress and actually build momentum, which is the end goal. You want them to build and to continue to grow. So on the teacher's part, it's important to be patient. Patience really crucial as a teacher, and taking advantage of different different materials as well that can keep lessons diverse, but also on track, so that they are seeing their progress as well and actually fuels them the improvement over time. And that every student, their growth's unique, but also being commendable. I think there's so little to be said about being commendable, but it's the most important thing. You want to make students feel like their progress matters to their teacher, and emotionally strengthen them so that they feel like they can move
Motivate them,
forward and that they
encourage
are
them.
doing well. Yeah, the importance is to make it known to them that they are valued and they are actually capable of, yeah, the skills that they now know. So positive reinforcement is really, really important. And the idea of, yeah, capturing attention, building trust, and setting the tone has been said with warm-ups and things, so that the students feel, yeah, heard and
Teacher
valued, so their
or
confidence
educator
rises
is
is great.
responsible. Teacher or educator is responsible to shape the future of the learner.
Yeah, that's exactly true. Yeah, it's up to the teacher to help them shape the students in the way that they want to. Each student has a different goal or a different ideal situation they want to be in with their language. So the tools that we use play a major part in helping the learning actually stick. So if we've got the students in mind, then a good teacher knows how to appeal to the students' interests and their learning preferences. So we do want to celebrate all of their growth, and make it known that you are proud of their personal progress. And this goes without saying for each one of
In
my
short, we have
lessons.
to try every positive way to just polish them to achieve
Yeah,
their goals.
yeah, being positive is really, really, really important.
Yeah, have to adopt every positive way.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you want them to feel good about lessons and not dread them.
Okay. Would you like to share about your expertise or services you may in the live stream?
Brilliant, thank you. So, yeah, I personally like to take inspiration from all areas of my teaching life. So, for me, I teach private guitar lessons and ukulele lessons, as has been mentioned. I've been involved with Spanish grammar lessons for a long time, and they've taught me lots of really great ideas for use within ESL lessons as well. But it's always something that I've been passionate about. I've been teaching now for over 5 years entirely. And I've loved every moment of it. So I found that all of those lessons together give me quite a refreshing and creative outlook on lessons, and actually, yeah, I can take inspiration from different ones. And I'm always open to people contacting me regarding those sorts of lessons, because music lessons are always something that are really fun as well. So I do warmly encourage people to look into music lessons if they haven't already, or if they want to reach out. Yeah, then that's absolutely fine. I'd be more than happy to look into those sorts of things with people. But as for my ESL lessons, yeah, enjoyed this insightful discussion about, yeah, making lessons engaging for students, and hope that the ideas have been beneficial towards other people. And yeah, welcome any contact through LinkedIn or Facebook if people want to continue a discussion further.
They would. I hope.
Yeah, that would be lovely. Yeah, and I hope that everyone listening today finds that, yeah, these sorts of things can be useful to them, whether they are a student or a teacher.
Is there any feedback relevant to MSK Linguistics Center or for Miss Sidra Kashif?
No, this has been really, really insightful. Thank you so much for having me. I've enjoyed being here, and yeah, I hope that everyone listening can, yeah, come away from this feeling like they've learned something, and appreciate how much you're able to reach people from all over the world through your platform. So yeah, thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure, and wish you to have you in future another time as well with another topic or lesson. I
Oh,
hope
thank
for
you
the
so much.
to have another meeting relevant to it.
Oh. Very nice.
Okay,
Yeah, thank
viewers.
you.
Okay, viewers, I hope you would have enjoyed this live stream. It's been really remarkable or fruitful for you if you are educationist, instructor, or learner. Indeed, it's really remarkable as the tips or tricks shared by Miss Shannon Liddy, that is very fruitful. You must apply in your classrooms. So wish you all the best, and dear Shannon, see ya.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Speak to you again another time.
My honor. Bye.
Bye.